already seen kind of what this video is going to entail. Now, I've got 3 plenum beauty plates. One from an Explorer plenum, and then I've got 2 off of like stock 50 HO plenums. One of the stock ones is in really good shape. It's off my 92 coupe, of which that upper intake came off of my 92 coupe like early on in the day. So it still has most of its black paint on it. The other one I've got, which is beat right up, it came off the 91 vert. It's got 93,000 miles on it. So it's looking a little rough. What I want to do is I want to run 2 different processes on restoring the Explorer 50 plate, V8 plate, and another process doing the 50 HO plate, and see which one turns out better. Now, why I've thrown the third one in there, the beauty plate that came off my coupe, is it's like 97, 98% good. Okay, it's got pretty much all of its black paint, and that would be like my OE baseline. So we're going to keep that one as a bit of an example as to what these things should look like, and then I'm going to restore these other 2 in 2 different formats, okay? One of which anyone can do at home with your average hand tools. The other one is going to be a little bit more of an involved process, but I'm really interested to see how it turns out. I'm going to use a tool that not a lot of people are going to have access to. You might know someone that has that tool. Regardless, we're going to run both processes. I'm going to show you how to restore these bad boys and make your 50 HO or V8 50 plate beauty plates look brand spanking new. All right, folks, so before we get into the restoration of these plenum plaques, I wanted to point something out to you that I just noticed now that I have these 3 plaques side by side. So this is the plaque off of my 1992 coupe. If you flip it over, you'll notice here there's a 91. So now this here is the plaque off the 91 convertible. If you flip it over, you notice here there's a 90. Now, I know the history of these 2 cars, and I know that these plenum plaques came on each respective car right from the factory from Ford. These plenum plaques did get moved around a lot car to car. So if you own a car that has a ton of owners, this may not apply and you may not be able to weigh in on this. But if you have a low owner car, or you know the history of your car right back to the first owner, I'd love to hear from you to see if you are noticing this same trend, that the plenum plaque, the number on it, trends 1 year behind that of the year of the car. Or if you know something with respect to this story, or if there even is a story. So now moving on to the Explorer plenum plaque, what's neat about this is the upper and lower intake and the set of 3-bar GT40 heads that I got all came off the same Explorer. However, the guy that I got the bits and pieces from did not know the year of the Explorer that it came off of. He goes, it was a 96 or 97. So again, if we do some investigative deciphering here and using this trend, flipping this guy over, here you can see we've got a 96. So again, if this trend is true, which I'd love for you to comment below and let me know if you know anything about this, it leads me to believe that this upper and lower intake and set of 3-bar heads that I got off this Explorer probably came off early, like January through May or June 97 Explorer, because somewhere around the middle of 97, these Explorers went to GT40P heads. So anyway, maybe boring for some. I'm a bit of a history buff when it comes to this stuff. So if you know anything about this, please let me know. The plenum plaque, or the number on it, seems to trend 1 year behind the actual year of the vehicle that it came from. On to the restoration. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be leaving this one alone. This is the one off my 92 notchback, and I want to use it as an OEM baseline to compare the restoration of these 2 to this, to see how close we've got this thing back to OE standards. The one off the 91 vert, this guy I'm going to restore with nothing more than hand tools, something everyone's going to have laying around their garage, to show you that you can restore these with your basic hand tools. This one The only process that's going to change from the one off the 91 vert is I'm going to run this through a sandblast cabinet as a first treatment to get all the junk off it and hopefully blast all the black out of it. Because I am curious to see how the finish of a blasted plenum plaque compares to that of one that's been treated to nothing more than hand tools. So, first things first, let's get after this guy. Okay, here we are, final product, all cleaned up, and now I got this cleaned up with nothing more than my DeWalt impact drill and a wire wheel. So pretty sure most people got a drill kicking around their house. Go down to your local parts store, pick up a wire wheel, and just time and elbow grease, and you can get it cleaned right up. Now, in light of time, because I obviously have to paint these, and then we're going to sand them after, I'm going to get over and paint this one now. Now I'm sure I'm going to get lit up over this. I do not know what the exact black is that Ford used to paint these with originally. However, I do have some SEM trim black that I'm going to be using. I think this is going to be fairly close to the kind of matte that Ford would have used. So we're rolling with an SEM 39143 part number trim black. I'm going to dust this guy up and let it dry, and then we're going to be sanding the top. While this one's drying, I'm going to run this one through the cabinet and see how we make out with that. Alright folks, so here's finished product of the blasted plenum plate. A little bit more of a silvery, kind of rougher finish. So anyway, we'll splash some paint on this guy and see how it turns out compared to the wire wheeled version. Okay, so as this guy's drying away, got my screws drying, I'm gonna get after starting on this one. Now here's our cross comparison, right? The OEM version to the SEM black. Now, the next trick is we gotta sand down all the high sections, right? Because if you look at this guy closely, essentially, this is the trick. You just got to buff out all the high stuff and your low stuff stays nice and painted up, all right? So I'm going to go with this two different ways. I'm going to start off with just a block and some sandpaper. I'll see what the heck I got and I'll mention that on screen for you so you know what I'm using. And if that don't work, we're busting out the power sander. We're going to hit her hard.
right, folks. Jeez, I got a little arm pump here. I feel like a teenager coming out of his room after a 2-hour clean job. But anyways, here's the finished product. Not bad, right? Maybe a little bit more polished in the silver than what OEM would be, right? Because here is our OE comparison. Now keep in mind that this is obviously weathered, right? This is still 92 standard, but a low mileage example of what they look like from the factory. Out of this thing's probably got, I don't know, 35,000 miles on it versus, well, you've seen this thing to begin with. There's a restored one. I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. Now, I got to get after that Explorer one to see if it's any different. Might have a quick cold one and let my arm calm down before I get after sanding that one, but we'll be back with you shortly here. Okay, ladies and gents, final product. The Explorer one turned out pretty good too. I will say there are still some low spots that I could probably spend a little bit more time on and make it pop even more, but yeah, they turned out absolutely great. And here it is against the OEM version, right? So a little bit of elbow grease, folks, is all it takes. So 320 sandpaper, right? After you've got them painted up with some SEM trim black, drill and a wire wheel, and you can bring your plenum plaques back to brand new and or better. As always, folks, thanks so much for tagging along. I really appreciate it. And if you need another Foxbody restoration video, be sure to check out my Dash Resto video right here. And if this video helped you, please share it along with the community. Share it on your social medias, whatever. That's why I do these videos. I love helping the community. So thanks again, guys. Till next time, take care. Bye for now.